Okay, so guys, I'm back. I had to wait for the first video to upload so I could delete it and make space on my phone and to come back. And while I was waiting, I kind of lost the page I had for some reason, but still, as you can see, in order for you to be part of the elite, you have to come. It has to be from the bloodline of your mother. Your mother can only pass it down to you. But as I was trying to find that page, I did come across this page, the Dragon Court, and this is biblical accolades. I don't know. Excuse me, y'all. I'm so tired. But my eyes are tired and I just feel so drained. I've been feeling like this for I went out yesterday. We went to Walmart, picked up a few things, and I felt so drained after I came back home, and I just still feel drained. I don't know why, but I'm trying to hurry up and make this video for y'all. My daughter's upstairs talking. She wants some attention, so I'm trying to hurry up. But I just wanted to, so we have the Grail Kings, but then the Anunnaki, the Black Nobility, Bloodlines of the Dragon, the Brotherhood of the Snake, the Dragon Court, Assembly of the Anunnaki, Solution. This is going to be some, the Origin of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, and the Tua, the D, Danan. Because I really believe that has something to do with the tribe of Dan, and we was going to get into that. I was telling you guys, I've lost my whole train of thought. But right now I found this page and I'm so interested to click on all the links, but we're going to stick to it at hand. That your mother has to pass you this bloodline. I told you guys that this bloodline was passed through Abraham's mother. So the Black Nobility, and you can see, look, from the gods of Eden, from the secret societies of the power in the 20th century, blue bloods, in defense of kingship and divine right. So these are links that you actually have to click on. All the Queen's forces and all the Queen's men. So yeah, this is stuff that you actually gotta click on. And actually click on it. And this has got to do with the Edomites. I told you guys that Esau is black. He is not I'm sorry, he was not white like people like to say. But he did intermarry. He did start to intermarry with these people. But all of this is off track. I want to get back to the track. Okay, so I'll come back to and see what that is really all talking about. So even the Jewish people, though, will tell you, even though they're not the true Jews, they will tell you that the bloodline is carried through the mother. Okay, so let's say the code of the Jewish law clearly states that a child of Jewish mother is Jewish regardless of the father's lineage, while the child of a non-Jewish mother is not Jewish. Matrilineal descent has been a fundamental principle of Torah since the Jewish people came into existence. If your father is Jewish but not your mother, please see to a child of a Jewish father. Some aspects of Judaism, like the priesthood, are clearly patrilineal, but the entry line into Jewishness has always been through the mother, or conversion. There's clear evidence of the rule of matrilineal descent of biblical times in the story of Ezra, as I read to you guys in part 1, and the returning of exiles. The book of Ezra tells the story of the Jews who returned from Babylonia to finish rebuilding the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Upon their arrival, they found that many of the Jews who inhabited the land had taken non-Jewish wives. Ezra, who was heartbroken, tearing his garments in mourning and prayer to God. A large crowd gathered and joined with Ezra as he prayed and wept. And we read this, guys. The next verse states, and Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, the sons of Elam, raised his voice and said to Ezra, we have betrayed our God, and we have taken in foreign wives of the people of the land, but there is still hope for Israel concerning this. Now then, let us make a covenant with our God to expel all these women and those who have been born to them in accordance with the bidding of the Lord and of all who are concerned over the commandment of our God, and let the Torah be obeyed. If the child of a Jewish father is Jewish, why did Shechaniah suggest expulsion of the children born to these women? How was it that Ezra and all the people agreed to his advice? Obviously, it was given that these children were not Jewish. Furthermore, note that Shechaniah states, and let the Torah be obeyed. Apparently, everyone understood that this was not a new edict, but a call for obedience to the Torah, as it has always been understood by the Jewish people. Matrilineal descent in the times of Moses. So I just wanted to establish that even the Jewish people today that's over there, even though they're not really the Jews, the Israelites, they are Hebrew, but they're not Israelites. They even know that it's, the bloodline is passed through the mother. And the reason why this bloodline was passed to Abraham, because his mother was of the Horite priesthood. And we're going to read a little bit about that. Okay. Most people think of Christianity as an offshoot of Judaism. However, the core of Christianity can be traced back to Abraham and his Cushite ancestors long before there were Jews in Judaism. In this sense, Christianity isn't original. What it lacks in originality, it makes up for in antiquity, and herein rests its authority. Abraham and his people were Horites, a caste of ruler priests who were devout of the mythical Horus, who was called the Son of God, and Horus was of the two crowns. The sacrificing priesthood may not have begun with the Horites in the Nile region, but this group's conception of the priesthood shaped the Jewish and later Christian conception of the priesthood. Horite priests were asked to pray for people because they were recognized as especially holy people. Abraham was asked to pray for Amalek's household, and Job was asked by God to pray for his friends. So the Horite priests' work involved intercessory prayer, fasting, and sometimes blood sacrifice. Righteous Job offered sacrifice on behalf of his whole family. The man named in Genesis are Horite ruler priests. The Horites were a caste. One trait of the caste is strict endogamy. The Horites exclusively intermarry. These are the rulers who are listed in the Genesis genealogies. The marriages were arranged between the sons and daughters of two main priestly lines. Each ruler had two wives at the time of his ascent. One was a half sister, as was Sarah to Abraham, and the other was a paternal cousin wife, as was Keturah to Abraham. There are numerous examples of exactly this pattern in Genesis and Exodus. The priestly lines are traced from brother patriarchs Cain and Seth, Ham and Shem, Peleg and Joktan, Nahor and Abraham. It is by the cousin bride that the ruler priest lines are identified. And you see how I say Ham and Shem, as I keep explaining to you guys that Abraham's father was from Shem, but his mother was from Ham. She was Canaanite, and his father was Indian from Shem. It is by the cousin bride that the ruler priest lines are identified. The cousin wife names her firstborn son after her father. So Naamah's firstborn son, Lamech, is named after her father, Lamech the elder. This pattern continues throughout the Bible to Joseph and his cousin bride Mary, the mother of Jesus, the Son of God. The priesthood and purity. Hurite priests define the priesthood. The Hebrew root thr to be pure corresponds with the hasa ham toro equal clean, and to the Tamil tiru equal holy. All are related to the Proto-Dravidian tor equal blood. The Horite priest was to be purified before entering the temple. His purification involved fasting and intense period of prayer. Purification ritual involved bathing and shaving the head. Korah, Moses' half-brother, was a priest. His name means shaved head. And according to Numbers 16, 17 through 18, he carried the censer to offer incense before God. Horite priests served in the temple, probably a rotating schedule. It is from the Horite priesthood that the priesthood of Israel developed. Moses' two brothers, Korah and Aaron, were both Horite priests before there was a nation known as Israel. The Fouts of the Son of God. One moment, y'all, my babe crying. Okay, so where were we? Many have noted the uncanny correspondence between the myth of Horus and the story of Jesus. Both were born the only begotten Son of God under miraculous and humble circumstances. Both were slain by their own kin. Both rose to life again. Both inherit the Father's kingdom, uniting two peoples, which is symbolized by the wearing of two crowns. This is references in the book of Job, who was himself a Horite. The trial of Job, in which Satan acts as the accuser, parallels Zechariah, where Satan accuses the high priest, Yeshua. In Yeshua's trial, God acquits Yeshua and commands that he be clothed in clean garments and crowned with two crowns. The points to Jesus, who as the Son of God would wear two crowns, one representing those who have died in faith and the other representing the church. I don't know if I necessarily agree with what that's what the two crowns symbolize, but we all of it, we're not taking everything that's said as face value, but we are understanding that it is a bloodline that a lot of us are a part of and we don't know. That the elites still uphold this bloodline. It's all about the bloodline, the holy grail, and they know that you can only be inbred in this bloodline through the woman, and also that this can be passed down through the woman. That's why they promote mixed marriages so much, because they know that the man, if you take other women, your children will automatically be kicked out of the priesthood. They won't qualify. So things like that, we need to take this into consideration. So I say the correspondence between the Horus myth and the story of Jesus can be explained in two ways. Either Christians borrowed the Horus myth and Christianity emerged in the organic way from belief system of Abraham and his Horite people. No, Abraham, as I explained, all of Ham believed the Egyptians weren't the only people. All of Ham had the same kind of belief system. And Canaanites come from Ham. So, yes, they did have a similar priesthood to the Egyptians. And this is what I try to explain to people. You don't have to be Egyptian to be Kemetic. Kemetic just means Ham in Arabic. Anybody who was the seed of Ham is Kemetic, not just the Egyptians. And this is where a lot of people, this is where the confusion lies, because they like, oh, well, are you Egyptian, or are Egyptians are not the only Kemetic people. Were Canaanites. The Israelites were Canaanite. Abraham's mother was Canaanite, and she was a daughter of a Horite priest, and that's why Abraham married her. This is keeping the priesthood going. I really wanted to keep reading that. Keep reading that page that I had found, but for some reason I cannot find it again. But let's read this. Sebek Nefru, powerful pharaoh and queen of the dragon court, named after the crocodile god Sobek. Sobek Nefru, whose name means she who shows the beauty of Sobek, succeeded her brother to the throne of Egypt. At the time she came to power, the cult of Sebek had prominence in Egyptian society, and following her example, many of the pharaohs of the 13th dynasty felt it incumbent to take the name Sobek. Who was this guy? Sobek was associated with the Nile crocodile and is either represented in its reptile form or as a human with a crocodile head. Sobek was also associated with power, fertility, and military prowess, but served additionally as fiercely protective deity, which was invoked particularly for protection against the dangers presented by the Nile River. He gained ascendance through the myth that linked him to Isis and Osiris when he helped the goddess retrieve her husband's dismembered body parts. His cult was established in Fayum region with its capital Shedet, translated Crocodileopolis. Look here I go, y'all know. Devoted to the care of the worship of the god and of the crocodiles, raised in the temple as reincarnations of the deity. One of the most important benefactors the cult of Sebek had was Amendment III, Sobek Nefru's father. He had taken a particular interest in Fayum, and I think her mother was Hatshepsut. He had taken particular interest in Fayum and in Sobek, and so their area blossomed with many new buildings projects. Sobek Nefru would have grown up around the priesthood of the deity, and perhaps Sobek was her personal favorite of the pantheon. When her brother died, the priesthood of Sobek backed her claim to the throne as Amendment the Fourth had no sons. What we know about Sobek Nefru's reign is that she extended the labyrinth that her father had begun in the Fayum oasis. The labyrinth was used as a model for the one in Crete, hinting that perhaps this was an initiation ceremony in both countries that was turned into myth later. Unfortunately, not much else is known about her reign, as there is little evidence. Unlike Hatshepsut, archaeologists have not found her tomb, though a pyramid in Dashur may be hers. And so all we have are 5 statues, several beads, scarabs, and seals bearing her name. Other evidence comes in from Manetho's text and Turin canon, the Karnak Turin, the Seka Wara King list of the now Indonesian record. She is listed in the mortuary temple of her father, Amendment III, which she completed. Surprisingly, her name appears many times at the temple, whereas her brother's name is absent. Um, so it's a lot of information here. But as you can see, as I was reading to you guys, see, I made a video and it cut off because I didn't have enough memory. So I don't know if it got into that other video, the part 1. But what it was saying in that other text was that the dragon pharaohs were called, the dragon priests were called Mesa or Messiah or the anointed. And we can see that again right here in this text. where it say about the dragon pharaohs. What were the changes wrought with this merging of belief and politics? For starters, pharaohs were anointed with sacred crocodile mesa fat when they were crowned, referred to in Egypt as the holy mesa, which became the Aramaic mesai, which in its verb form is meshe, or to anoint, to lead to the early kings being called dragons, messes, or messiahs. This practice may have begun in Mesopotamia, but it was Sebek Nefru who instituted it in Egypt, which was then adopted by the high kings of Israel and Judea. Jesus, as Messiah, would have been anointed with the fat of Messiah by his priestess wife, as did his ancestors, which were of the Davidic line. Guys, this just blew me away, and I got to screenshot this because Mary Magdalene was really Jesus' wife. And I've been we all been pondering this. I don't know if y'all been pondering it. I've been pondering it. And I know I've read the stuff that says that, but this just confirms it, because it say that Jesus as Messiah would have been anointed with the fat of Messiah by his priestess wife, as did his ancestors, which were of the Davidic line. Mary did anoint the Messiah, and it was an Egyptian ritual, and they didn't know. It was a Kemetic ritual, and the disciples was like, she wasting this expensive oil, or but he was like, y'all don't know what she doing. But the belief in the conception of Messiah without sexual union did not begin with Jesus, but with the goddess Isis, who conceived Horus with the aid of Sobek, who helped her retrieve her husband, though with one key body part missing. The Egyptians believed cosmic forces intervened in the impregnation under the patronage of the crocodile star. We find it in spell 148 of the coffin text. Ooh, this just got good, y'all. This just got good. I know y'all be like, she do too much in these videos. Hey, but I'm a person who I'm learning with y'all. I bring stuff that I get an idea first, and then I kind of explore it more with y'all. I mean, I look a little bit more, I look into it before I bring it to y'all, of course. But I'm still learning with y'all as well. The crocodile star mesa strikes Isis. Isis wakes pregnant with the seed of Osiris, namely Horus. But you can see that this is a dragon priesthood. We can see where, it started. Ceremonies and rituals has such far-reaching effect on the countries and dynasties in the Bible times. Did it end with the fall of Jerusalem? No, the rituals were known and emulated by the royal houses in Europe, first with the name Pendragon. So, okay, we was talking about Pendragon. Head dragon becoming known through Arthurian lore, and then with Emperor Sigismund von Luxembourg, King of Hungary, reforming the imperial and royal dragon court as society's Draconius in 1408. Emperor Sigismund claimed descent from Egyptian dragon dynasty of Sobek Nefru through the Davidic line of Judah, and the Pictish line descended from Me Lasanu, Melusine, and the Tua the Danan. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I really think that play a part in Denmark and the tribe of Dan. So we're going to look into that. One of the most famous members of the societies, Draconis, and Vlad Basarba, or Dracula, son of Vlad Dracul. Dracula's son wrote that his father probably claimed a linear descent of the priest of the dragon court of Queen Sobek Nefru, by which he may have meant a spiritual priestly lineage rather than a genealogical one, because they're not genealogical. Remember, I told you guys, your mother has to be, or you can either be, what they say spiritually they are, like that just said. Whether inferior Sigamul was correct in his claims of descent from the various lines. Many experts believe he forged his genealogy in order to build a power base amongst the other royal houses of Europe, or whether the son of the house of Jarkul was misled in the mystical power he inherited through the initial rituals. It is of interest that an almost unknown Egyptian queen who was nearly erased from all records has had such an influence on literature, beliefs, history, and culture, though the true nature of the original dragon core is still shrouded in mystery. My baby was coughing. I had to stop and listen for a second. But yeah, so we can see, we read that, in order for you to be an elite or to even get into this type of stuff, that you have to be passed it through your mother. Oh, let me check. Okay, I'm back. My baby keep coughing and stuff. So I'm trying to hurry up and do this. I really want to give y'all a lot of information, but I'm giving y'all the basis. You can always go do more research on your own. I'm gonna read a little bit more, and then we're gonna end this video. Guys, please do some research. This on your own. And this is why the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, was called the Great Dragon. Because he was part of the elite, the dragon priesthood. And so guys, yeah, we are part of that. And an Israelite, I always tell people elite, ELITE, is the end of the word Israelite. So ISRAELITE, elite, Isra, elite. So Isis Ra elite. So yeah. So this is why you cannot just be mating with anybody. We do need to make sure that you are mating with people that you get their history and stuff, and they're part of your people, your tribes. You can't just be going mating off unless you don't want to inherit. If you don't want to inherit your priestly inheritance and heritage, then yeah, go mate with whoever you want. But if you want your children to inherit the earth, like the scriptures say, then you definitely don't want to be doing that. Okay, so I did screenshot, I guess, and see, there goes, I say so a close fraternity when the emperor and royal dragon core was reconstituted. And see, I didn't get all of this, but you can see this line has descended through the Tuatha De Dan, this blue word right here that's highlighted, the dragon kings of Anu, on the hand of we can't read it all, but the later strain included the bloodline of the Davidic house of Judah, who married into the descent of the Merovingian Empire. Okay, so guys, this is like deep information. I have screenshotted some information here. Okay, that's for other studies, guys. Other studies. Studies on Lilith. I told y'all I had some information to bring y'all about Lilith. Okay, so this is okay. So this is what I screenshotted. Remember I told you guys that my family is Irish, Indian, and African. Irish is African as well. But the people just got leprosy, the Caucasians. Some. So say the old Irish word tuath, plural tuatha, means people, tribe, nation. D is the genitive case of dia, and depending on the context can mean God, gods, goddess, or more broadly, supernatural being, object of worship. In the earliest writings, the mythical race are referred to as the tuatha D, plural tuatha D, Tuatha, plural Tuatha. However, Irish monks also began using the term Tuatha to refer to the Israelites, with the meaning people of God. Apparently, to avoid confusion with the Israelites, writers began to refer to them as a mythical race as the Tuatha De Danann. And I believe it's got to do with a lot with the tribe of Dan, which I told you guys my family name is Wilson, from Denmark, from the tribe of Dan. The old Irish pronunciation is, I can't pronounce that, guys, Danann, Danann, and modern Irish pronunciation, and the west, north, and the south. In a rough English approximation, Danann is generally believed to be the genetic of a female name. And I explained to you guys when we did the video on Ganesha that my name is Danisha, which Dan is short, Dan Isha, which means woman. Isha means woman, and Dan means judge of God, or judge is my God. I mean, Jod. Let me slow down. Dan means judge of God, or God is my judge. And that's actually the first three letters of my name, Dan, Dan, and then Isha, Esha. So Danann is generally believed to be the genitive of a female name for which the nominative case is not attested. It has been reconstructed as Danu, or of which Anu. Genitive Anan may be an alternative form. Anu is called Mother of the Irish Gods by Cormac Mac Cuillenan. This may be linked to the Welsh mythical figure Dan. Hindu mythology also has a goddess called Danu, who may be an Indo-European parallel. They always try to tie everything to the Europeans, but no. However, this reconstruction is not universally accepted. Thank you. It has also been suggested that Danann is a conflation of Dan, skill, craft, and the goddess name Anan. The name is also found as Danann in Damnan, which may point to the origin of the Proto-Celtic Dan, meaning earth. Compare the Old Irish word for earth, domain. There may be a link with the mythical Fur Damnan and the British Du Damnamni. But as y'all can see, how I came across these people is because I was reading about this. And this is going to be another video, the Pharaoh Pi, and he actually lost his arm, and his name was Nuadas. And in another story was similar about a guy who lost his arm, but his name was they changed his name to the Fomorians. The Fomorians. Okay, so it's a traditional, their king must be physically perfect, and he was replaced by a king by. But yeah, the king had lost his arm, and they talk about the Titans and the Olympians and all that. But that's a different video. So much information. I guess I don't really have nothing else to say. The tribe of Dan. Oh yeah, I wanted to just look up one more thing. I wanted to see, because I had copy tribe of Dan, and I know that that's what this means. I just know that that's what this means, y'all. I don't even it just looked like they said this word Tuatha mean tribe. D mean the in other languages. It cannot mean the. And Danann. I mean, that's just Dan, tribe of Dan. The Tuatha De Danann, tribe of Dan. And I told you guys that my family is from the tribe of Dan. So it is certainly no coincidence that the Irish Gaelic word dun or dun means judge, just as Dan does in Hebrew. So I explained to you guys that Dan means God is my judge, or judge of God, or judge, like they said. The ancient connections between the Irish Tuatha De Danann and the Greek tribe of Dan have been documented all throughout history. Now, Dan, the tribe of Dan, became Greek because they mixed in with the Greeks, but the tribe of Dan was Israelites. The history of Ireland, they mixed in with the Amorites actually in the mountains. So in that scripture, Judges 1. The history of Ireland, and the Peabody Institute states that the residents prior to Tuatha De Dananns were descendants of 5,000 people from Greece called Phobalges. Phobalges. The next appear about 717 BC under a king called Nuad, and we was just reading about that king, the one who lost his arm, where the Tuatha De Danann said in Irish to be the tribe of Dan. This makes sense since the old people of Ireland were once named after their tribe as the Dan O'Neans. And the most famous Irish ballad is forever immortalized after the tribe in the song Danny Boy. The true Irish saga of the tribe of Dan, A Serpent by the Way, is a fascinating trail of waymarks along the path of this tribe's journeys. These waymarks are the signs of the symbols that the tribe of Dan had left in all places they had traveled and conquered, such as Ireland. They gave their name to many places that were known biblically as Mahane, Dan, camps of Dan. In Ptolemy's map of Ireland, we find Dan's Low, Dan Sower, Dan Sabirus, Dan Resting Place, and Dan's Habitation, and Dan Gin Castle, the birthplace of the Duke of Wellington. Many great scholars and authors on ancient Irish history almost all agree that the Irish Tuatha De Danann were the descendants of the Greek Danoe, or Dananns, who colonized ancient Ireland and were the first high kings of the Emerald Isle. The Irish Tuatha De Danann were the western descendants of the Phoenician Greek Dananns, who were also known as the tribe of Dan, Danae. In the Annals of Ireland, it is written that the Dananns were highly civilized people, were well skilled in architecture and other arts from long residence in Greece, and their intercourse with the 132 Phoenicians. Their first appearance in Ireland was 1200 BC. Jeremiah writes, "For a voice declared from Dan, and published the affliction from Mount Ephraim, published against Jerusalem. The watchers come from a far country and give out their voice against the cities of Judah, as Dan dwelt in a far country." And I'll have to go read that in Jude first, chapter 5. In the scripture, the tribe of Dan was originally from the tribes of Israel, who was the second biggest behind the tribe of Judah, who were named after and who had territory of Mount Ida on Crete. According to the book of Genesis, Dan Hebrew, Dan Judgment, or He Judge, was the fifth son of Jacob with Bilhah. He was Bilhah's first son. He was the founder of the Israelite tribe of Dan. Their symbol is the serpent, and the name Dan means judge. So, I mean, we can go on and on, guys, but I'm going to end this video with that. But this is the elite bloodline, and I guess I'll extend this video with a video entitled "Who the Elite Really Are" in the tribe of Dan, because I've come across much information that a lot of the elite are from the tribe of Dan, and I haven't done information on all of the elite, because you would actually have to know who all of the elite are, and we don't know that for a fact. But as far as the presidents and stuff, all from the tribe of Dan. So, guys, I'm sorry, my head is like really, my eyes are so tired, I'm so drained. I'm going to end this video. I really want to give you guys all the information, but my eyes are so tired. I'm so tired. I can't keep looking at this phone screen reading. I did get a computer. Hopefully I can start doing videos on there. It has a camera, and maybe it'll be better. But I was already really drained, and I just need to rest for a minute. My anxiety is, it's just like kicking my butt. But I hope you guys, you get the drift of what I'm saying, and the bloodline, how it's about the bloodline, and the mother carries that bloodline, and how to keep our bloodline, then we have to be made, you know, mating with each other and not outside nations and things like that. And it's not racist. It's not racist. It's about not giving away your inheritance. Shalom.